format there through that series for you guys. I mean, what does that say? You know, you're still able to get away with, not get away with, but enjoy an 11-5 victory. I guess what does that say about the state of Australian women's cricket?
I think it's a huge statement. I think the scoreline probably suggests that we ran away with it towards the back end of the series, but I think it was a much tighter contest than that. I think India were exceptional at times during that series and really tested our depth within this Australian side, and it was great to see the depth come to the fore with those younger players debuting and T-Mac obviously debuting in T20 cricket 5 years after a ODI debut, looking like she'd been doing it for years. So I think it's a really exciting sign for what's to come in this sort of summer of cricket, ending in the World Cup in New Zealand.
Makes for some interesting Ashes selections, I imagine.
Yeah, I'd hate to be a selector after this series. I think every time someone got given an opportunity, they absolutely stood up and put us in a position to win a game of cricket for Australia, and that's what we speak about in this team is match-winning performances, whether it's with the bat or the ball or in the field. So to see a number of different people stick their hand up and do that on numerous occasions is really pleasing.
You've got to roll straight into the WBBL. How important is that competition going to be, given you do have such a massive summer of cricket, and as you spoke about, everyone's sort of stepping up and making it really tough?
Yeah, the WBBL has been a huge tournament on the calendar for us for the last 6 years, and this year won't be any different. I think we're really grateful that Cricket Australia and the WBBL are doing everything they can to get that tournament up and running and making sure we've got some of the best internationals in the world playing in it. And you know, that experience for those players in that competition coming up against the best players in the world only means that come selection time, it's going to be pretty tough for the national selection panel to decide that squad for the Ashes and the World Cup, but also presents a great opportunity for a lot of players to be put under the pump in different scenarios, and hopefully they can show what they can do best.
I guess, how important is it as well, just in terms of battle hardening players? Like we saw Tahlia sort of speak about it, like the journey to get back into sort of the international scene involved a lot of working yourself out in the WBBL and tough games like that. I mean, it's really a big, huge plus for Australian cricket. You're getting guys who are coming into the team who have played 30 or 40 really high-class games coming in.
Yeah, I think it's massive. I have no doubt that impacted the way I started my international career. I certainly wouldn't have come into my international career in the early days being as confident as I was playing against some of the best players in the world. So the WBBL is huge. I think the battle hardening, like you say, that we get from playing in that competition and exposing ourselves to really tough contests and tight games, which is what people want to see, and also learning about our own game as well. I think that's really important and won't be any different this season.
And just you talked about the toughness of the battle throughout the series. What about those last two games? I mean, it seemed like the washout on Thursday, all the talk was it gave you a chance to sort of have a look and work some things out. Did you really do that and act and sort of execute those in the last two games?
I think the bowlers have done an outstanding job the last couple of games. We sort of knew in that first game that they would come out and play that way. They've shown their hand a little bit in games in the last 12 months and prior to the World Cup in that tri-series. I think they're a real threat in international cricket. They've got a great lineup with their batting and a really settled lineup with the ball as well. So as I said, the scoreline suggests that we ran away with it, but I think it was much closer than that. And they're an exciting team. They play an exciting brand of cricket as well. So I think playing in those games as well just presents an opportunity, as I said, for players to be put in different scenarios. And playing against an exciting team like India is no different.
You must be really happy with your white ball form. I mean, you seem to, on a sometimes tricky pitch out there, be making good decisions in terms of finding ways to score runs, coming down the pitch at times. Yeah, how's that decision-making process? Is there a lot of clarity there for you at the moment? I mean, it's just really consistent runs.
I mean, sort of looking earlier in this series, I probably wasn't hitting the ball that clean, so I had to go back to the drawing board a little bit with Shell and Moddy and go back to some of the things that worked for me in the past. And I think just remembering you don't have to tinker too much with your game, and remembering what's worked in the past, I think has been a real change for me in the last couple of games especially. So I've been really lucky to go out there and score a few runs and contribute to the success of the team, but certainly this group makes it really easy to go out there and do that consistently.
Kailani, you have a question for Beth?
Yes, may I?
Yes, you can.
Hello Beth, congratulations on the series win. I just want
Yeah, I think T-Mac's shown in the WBBL we've been talking about, especially in the last couple of years, that she's totally evolved her game and become one of the premier cricketers in the country. I think she's proved that out there this series and come in pretty tough conditions and tough scenarios for such a young player in her international career and look like she's been out there for years and years and played so many more games than she has. And I think, as we've spoken about, that's come from being exposed to different scenarios during WBBL and WNCL. And I guess for someone like Tahlia, I can't speak for her, but I think what's really driven her in the last couple of years is having a real taste of it back in 2016, 2017, and a little bit of a rough patch after that with injury. And then, it's a tough team to get back into, so you have to be pretty bloody good, and she's shown that in spades this series. So I'm really excited to see what she can do in the next sort of 6 months, and I know she'll have a huge impact on this team for a long time.
Carly?
Thank you. Yeah, hi, Beth. You obviously spoke about how well the younger players have done this whole series, but having said that, were you still a bit surprised to see Elise Perry not given a bowl in this game?
I'm not Meg Lanning with the C next to my name, so I'm not sure I can answer that. But I think Meg has a really tough job with the team that's out on the park at the moment. I think there's 8 bowlers that can bowl, and obviously Midge, Meg and I are the only ones that don't, unless we're in real trouble and, crap's hitting the fan, I guess. But 8 bowlers to choose from makes it really tough, and you want bowlers to get on a roll as well. So I think Meg's been doing an outstanding job working through that in her own head under pressure in those conditions when India are coming hard. So I can't answer the question as to why she didn't bowl, but I can say that it must be a pretty bloody tough job for Meg to decide who's going to get the ball at what point.
Fair enough. Thanks, Beth.
Thanks, Carly. Anisha?
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Beth. My question is very specific to a particular spinner who was the thread going into last year's World Cup and performed exceedingly well in that opening match. Poonam Yadav, she has since that World Tournament sort of flown off the radar in terms of how she has performed and also her selection in the starting 11. Can you walk us through what have the conversations in the Australian dressing room been like in terms of preparing for a bowler like Poonam Yadav, and then to see her actually not get the opportunities? Has Australia been able to sort of read her tactical specific bowling? What is it that has contributed to sidelining Poonam Yadav the way she has been over the course of this series?
You guys are asking the tough questions. I'm not an Indian selector either, but I think just having a real clear plan against someone like Poonam Yadav. She obviously bowled really well at the T20 World Cup last year, and we went away in the pre-season and realised as a whole group of Australian cricketers, female cricketers, we had to work on facing slow spin. So we did that in the pre-season, and I think that's shown a lot in the way we've played their spinners this series. I think the next step forward for us is playing the swinging ball a little bit better than we probably have this series, and been put under the pump a lot with that. So I think the next little period we'll see the group really working hard on that side of the game. But I can't answer why she hasn't been getting picked, but I still think she's a huge threat for India, especially leading into that ODI World Cup.
Jono?
Thanks, Lucy. Congrats, Beth, on the series win and the runs tonight. Slightly easy question. Have you enjoyed the last few weeks and the makeup of the multi-format series and switching formats?
Oh, it's been a real thrill. I think any opportunity you get to play international cricket, you can't take for granted, especially in this day and age, and the fact that we've been able to get a multi-format series over the line against a team like India with their skill set has been incredible. There's been a lot of people that have been involved in making that happen, so we've got to say a huge thanks to those guys. And obviously India came over here and did a really tough quarantine period leading into the series as well. So I think it's just a really exciting time to be an international cricketer at the moment with these series popping up, and hopefully we can see a lot more of them moving forward.
I was going to say, just following on from that, do you think there's scope to include women's multi-format series on the calendar every year?
I hope so. I think that's the way forward for us to get a few more test matches in, whether it's 2 or 3 a year or 3 or 4 a year, whatever it is, just getting different countries exposed to this series. And I think what we'll see is, the best team across a long, sustained period of time will be the clear winner at the end of the series, and that's what we want cricket to be. We want to test our skill sets for a long period of time, given we don't play 5 test match series against different countries. So certainly I think this is the way forward for us, and hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
Beautiful. Thanks, Beth.
And Ajith, do you want to finish us off?
Yeah, hi, sure. Thanks, Lucy. So, Beth, you battled quite a bit against the Indians in the past and in this series as well. Looking back at this multi-format series, which Indian bowlers did you find more difficult to handle?
Yeah, I think they possess a really strong bowling lineup. Obviously, Shikha Pandey came in, she sat on the sideline the whole series and did a great job with the new ball up front, swinging it and lots of variations as well. And then Rajeshwari Gaikwad took a lot of wickets against us too, so I thought she was really impressive. Pooja Vastraka is just a classic bowler as well that comes in and hits the length and makes it really difficult and asks lots of questions. So I can't pinpoint one, but I think all round they've got a great number of skills within their bowling lineup.
Sorry, one more
Beth,
from
we
Amy.
didn't see much of Annabelle Sutherland with the bat in this series. Can you tell us, where do you sort of see her long term with Australia? Do you think she's a 6 or 7, or do you think she'll bat higher up the order in, she's only 19?
Well, I think that's a great point, Adam. I think she's quite young into her career, both domestically and internationally. So she's, we know she's got that skill set and that potential. But I think what we've seen in this series is people can come in any situation and absolutely take the game on. I thought, in particular tonight and last night, Georgia Warren was outstanding with the bat, and she hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity either. And she has shown in the WBBL last year and in the series this time around that she can hit a ball and score quick runs when she has to. So I think for someone like Annabelle, she's learning a lot about her game as we all are. But I think moving forward, she'll definitely play a huge role within this team. And as I said before as well, it's a really tough team and batting lineup to get into when you've got people like Meg Lanning and Elise Perry just stuck in that 3 and 4 role and churning out runs for fun. So it's a really exciting place to be as a player in that team and as an Australian cricketer, to see the depth that we have and know that under pressure we've got people who can absolutely deliver.